So YTBC, thanks for checking out the video. It's gonna be a little boxing talk after watching all the fights over the weekend. Well, majority of the fights. I was pretty pleased with everything. Haven't made a video in a while. Just haven't been too inspired from what's been going on in boxing, and also through the social media outlets where we speak on boxing. I've been more on Twitter lately. It's much easier and more simpler for me to share my opinion on certain things and certain thoughts without going through the whole process and making a video, things like that. So if you was wondering about my little hiatus, that's pretty much the reason behind it all. Now, I watched the Charlo versus Julian Williams fight, and I didn't make a fight prediction or anything like that, or even a breakdown, but I was picking Charlo for the simple fact that he's the much bigger guy, and to me it seemed that both guys kind of carried similar skill sets in the fight. So when it's a fight of that nature, in my opinion, I typically go with the much bigger fighter. You know, the bigger, stronger, longer fighter when there's similarities when it comes to their skill sets. And that's what I saw with the Charlo versus J-Rock fight. Now, not to take any credit away from Jamar Charlo, he did what he was supposed to do. He made the weight. He was focused. He had his surgery. Came in, had some competitive rounds. You know, slipped a punch, perfect counter with the uppercut, and dropped Julian Williams. So, you know, pretty much Charlo did what was expected. Maybe he did a little bit more because I didn't see him knocking him out in the fashion that he did. So I am impressed by that. Sorry guys, I've been having this down cough. Been trading coughs with my son every other 2 weeks or so. Been having this nasty cough for a minute. For some reason it just won't go away. But yeah. So it was a good fight. A very entertaining fight. You know, we got what we wanted. I'm not gonna sit here and bash Charlo for being a dickhead to J-Rock after the fight, even though it does show zero class from what he did. But, you know, it is what it is. What I really want to talk about, other than these fights, even though I enjoy the fights, you know, a lot of them were mismatches. You know, Joshua, Molina, Bud Crawford, and Molina. You know, but let me get back to what I wanted to speak on. So I had a little minor discussion after hearing a few people's videos and being on Twitter, seeing what everyone's saying about how Charlo, you know, I guess exposed Julian Williams for having a weak chin and all those type of things, which, you know, it's true. I can't deny that. But also I like for people to think from a different way, from a different perspective, from my perspective actually. You know, I feel and I believe that some rules need to be changed in boxing. I'm sure a lot of you guys agree with this. You know, we don't have to go back to same day weigh-ins. I mean, I know that's not possible. I'm pretty sure this is never going to happen either. But it would be nice to see a fair, even fight where you have guys that are the same size fighting each other, not one guy much bigger, you know, bullying on the smaller guy. Maybe we should have like a 10-pound rehydration clause, you know, maybe 2 hours prior to the fight even happening, not the morning of, because even with that morning to the evening of the fight, guy's still gonna balloon up about 15 pounds regardless after they do make the 10-pound weigh-in, if they doing it in the morning like the IBF does it. So I'm just really annoyed about the mismatches and things like that. You got a guy like Charlo, I believe he's like 6'2", not taking any drug tests, no VADA, no, not even USADA, you know. And this is something that PBC said that they were gonna do with their fighters. They were gonna make sure that everybody is taking drug tests and they're all on an equal playing field, pretty much. But you get a fight like that last night where there's no mention of any drug tests. No one is outraged by anything. I was on Twitter talking with Michael Montero last night, and you know, it was shocking to me and him, and you know, other like-minded individuals that are true boxing fans, that there was no outrage, there was no, you know, uproar regarding that there was no drug testing for a fight of this magnitude. I mean, it's for a championship belt at that on Showtime, and you know, up and coming fighters, you know, fighters looking to make their way into boxing. So you got Charlo, even though the fight night weight said he was like 159 or some shit, the dude weighed in at 153 point something, and the night of the fight, from what the telecast showed, he was 159. But if you sit there and you look at him at the weigh-in, and have you ever seen any Dave Chappelle stand-up skits where he's acting like a crackhead? That's exactly what Jamar Charlo looked like. Dry, cheekbones are sucked in, lips looking crusty, hair nappy and shit. You know, and I mentioned hair nappy because the motherfucker felt so miserable from all the weight loss that he didn't even give a shit to do his hair, you know? That's how miserable the guy was, you know? That's why he was walking around with this fucking attitude like a female in a way, you know? Like she was on her period. That's kind of what he was on. He was on his period when he had to drop down that fucking weight. And, you know, we don't have no proof, but since there's no VADA or no legit drug testing, you know, I've came to the conclusion myself that maybe he's taking some diuretics that helps him get to that weight, make it a little bit easier for him, you know. And that's my problem and issue that I have with boxing going on these days. So it's kind of why I don't like Canelo. That's especially why I don't like Terrence Crawford. And let me get to his ass right now. So I remember I made a video justifying Pacquiao versus Vargas and explaining how Pacquiao's not ducking Crawford, Adrian Bronner, you know, Keith Thurman, and Danny Garcia. You know, something that I shouldn't even have to make, but you got a lot of these ridiculous fans claiming these type of, saying this type of shit, which makes no sense at all. It's like, do you watch boxing for the sport, or do you watch boxing because you like to see men with their shirts off looking ripped, and you chose the guy that you think that you're attracted to, and that's the guy that you're gonna rock with no matter what, like that's your boyfriend or some shit? You know, it's getting to that level when you hear other uploaders, even people in the comment sections or even on Twitter, you know, people speaking these ways. But back to Bud. So he beat the shit out of John Molina. Big surprise. Everyone knew what was gonna happen. It was a cherry picked from the same cherry bush that Danny Garcia was picky. That fight didn't happen. Crawford talked shit about Garcia about trying to fight John Molina. And what does he do? He ends up fighting John Molina himself. And appropriately dismantling him. But what I did notice in that fight, and what is so played the fuck out, is that you have Terrence Bud Crawford always getting this fucking hype for being this switch hitter. He's orthodox. He's southpaw. You gotta train for orthodox, and you get to the fight and oh my god, he's fighting southpaw. No, mother, ain't nobody worried about Terrence Crawford fucking switching to southpaw, because everybody fucking knows he's a southpaw fucking fighter. I mean, the shit that these people say on these broadcasts, Roy Jones Jr., you know, I guess HBO put the battery in a back, and you know, you want to keep getting this check, and stick to the guidelines. But either way, I noticed in the first round when John Molina had Bud against the ropes, it was early in the first round. I think he caught him with like 2 right crosses to the face, clean ones. Soon as John Molina landed those shots, Terrence Crawford immediately switched to southpaw. And then you hear Roy Jones and Max Kellerman dick ride, oh look, he switched to southpaw and blah blah blah, you know. I'm so shocked that he's switching to southpaw so early. If you pay attention to Bud Crawford fights, anytime the guy is getting touched up or he feels threatened, that's exactly what he does. It's a gimmick. It's nothing more than that. So Bud, you know, after getting caught with some clean rights, switched it up and, you know, peppered him with the jab, threw some nice combos, had some good movement, pretty much beat the shit out of John Molina, who looked as if he was drunk as fuck in the fight. Like, I mean, what he did against Provodnikov was night and day compared to what he tried to do with Crawford. I understand it's 2 different opponents, but god damn, the motherfucker looked like he just finished a whole this for the old schools, if y'all know what this is.